This is Mark Bell from Super Training Gym, the strongest gym in the West. In this footage, you're going to see Cailer Woolam, who came here to Super Training Gym, and he was our masked man, and he went head-to-head with Jeremy Avila, who was able to slightly edge out in the luchador deadlift battle that famously went down here at Super Training Gym. While Cailer was here, we saw an exceptional and explosive lifter, probably the most explosive sumo deadlifter I've ever seen in my life. Unbelievable how fast he's able to lift some of these enormous weights, and then also unbelievable how he's able to keep his form and how he's able to hold on to those weights with a hook grip. Actually, I think I might not be 100% accurate on this, but now that I think about it, it is probably the biggest weight ever lifted with a hook grip. So unbelievable strength. This kid is on fire, and I look for him to do bigger and better things. He also ended up hitting a big squat at the Boss of Bosses meet. In addition to that, he broke his second all-time world record by hitting up a 926-pound deadlift. His previous best to date, I believe, was about 881. He did a 900-pound deadlift in training, but 881 is the all-time world record, also held by Calum in the 198-pound class. So now he's building his legacy, he's building his legend. He now has two all-time world records, one at 198 pounds in the deadlift and one at 220 pounds. Unbelievable. When he was here, I made a prediction. Check out the prediction that I made. And Cailer Woolam, congratulations. Because of your efforts and because you broke another all-time world record, Super Training Gym and Slingshot is giving you $1,000. Strength is never a weakness. Enjoy the video. Catch you later. I got a little secret for you guys. This kid, Cailer Woolam, is going to break an all-time world record in a total too.
Nice. This is funny.
Yeah, after a certain point, it just gets to be flat out stupid. There's people that are dying to deadlift that, and he's rowing it like it's nothing. This is Mark Bell from Super Training Gym, the strongest gym in the West, and today we have a special guest who has successfully deadlifted 900 pounds. We have Cailer Woolam. He's gonna take us through 5 exercises, and he's gonna tell us how we can deadlift 900 pounds easy. So, first thing we got is a bent over row. Why don't you walk us through it?
Okay, so definitely my favorite exercise for building the deadlift is these bent over rows, and I'm gonna kind of show you how I do them. I do them a little bit differently than most people do, not your traditional rows. I incorporate a little bit of body English with these. So kind of show you a little bit how I do that. So
body English.
That's right.
AKA cheating,
yes,
perhaps?
Exactly. Cheating.
You're already pulling sumo. Now you're cheating here. I mean, what's next?
That's what powerlifting is
hook
about.
grip's
Yeah.
cheating?
Absolutely. We're just here to move more weight. We don't care how pretty it looks, right? So
that's right.
So I line up to it just like it's a regular conventional deadlift. So now the only thing I change is if I'm doing a conventional deadlift, I'll put my hands as close to my legs as I can. So what I'll do here is I'll kind of put my thumbs out like that just to space out my hands about like right there. Just get my grip a little bit wider for these rows. Maybe even move my feet out a little bit, kind of just whatever feels good, whatever makes me feel the most stable. Line up to it, just like I'm doing a regular deadlift, getting ready to rip it off the floor, get my back tight, everything. But then as soon as I get up to my legs about right here, I just pull it into my belly button, just like that. And then
You're pulling it in kind of low towards your stomach.
Right. So I'll just pull it right into that belly button area. I don't let the weight go all the way to the floor. I stop about halfway down my shins, really let my back and lat stretch out as far forward as I can, and then just pull it in my belly button. Just like that.
This is our strongest deadlifter in the gym. He did a 755-pound pull. I'm gonna have him just show the camera how he typically does a bent over row.
Okay.
Pop in here. The point of this is to show you guys there are a lot of different ways to execute these things, and you just want to find what works for you. So Nseema's going to explain how he does his bent over rows.
So I'm going to put some bodybotics on this shit. Pretty much, feet are pretty much where your conventional deadlift would be, but instead of when he does it, his bar is actually hitting the belly button. I'm trying to have the bar hit like my solar plexus right here, and my arms are much wider than his. So like, I'd say that typically where an individual would actually bench press would be where my arms would be. So I'm out here, And I do a similar thing where I bring my hips down to get slack out of the bar, but I don't come here. I pull it right off the ground, up into my chest. And then my main goal is to kind of hold my torso position. So whenever I pen labor, I try not to let this happen. I try to keep it here and have everything like my arms and my back doing a majority of the movement. So yeah.
Which way is the right way? The point is there's no such thing. But for today, we're gonna make Nsima do these deadlifts this way so he can learn more shit and become more betterist, right?
I typically like to step in a rep range of around like 5, because I'm doing these for like a lot of power. For some of my back down sets, I will do, you know, sets of like 8 to 10 or even 12 when I'm warming up or cooling down, or even just like on a lighter week. But you know, typically if I'm really trying to build some deadlift strength and get serious about these, I will even work up to like something pretty heavy for like a set of 3 or something like that. But today I'm kind of looking at doing sets of 5.
So like, let me ask you this then.
Okay.
When did you start actually doing this for your deadlift, and did you notice a big change when you started implementing it?
Absolutely. Man, maybe like last December, maybe like, yeah, December of like 2015 is when I really started to do these. I always did them, but I never did them with the intention of them being a deadlift accessory and being stronger at them. As soon as that became a priority to become stronger at them, my deadlifts just started blowing up. Like, and the stronger I got at these, the stronger my deadlift got.
So where would you say you started with this?
Man, I think like when I first started, maybe like a set of 5 with like 275 or something.
And that was difficult for you?
Do what?
That was kind of difficult for you?
Yeah, yeah. So I mean, it's really just blown up, and even just like in a year and a half. So great.
Plus 45. There we go. 490. It's around 490. You cannot have all of that computation on that video. All right, so what I can tell with this, and I asked him, where does he feel this movement mainly? He said mainly he feels it through like lower back in this area. And for me, right now I'm not feeling that much because I don't do a movement like this often. So I feel like since I pen lay row, and I usually feel my pen lay rows like up here and here, if I start doing this more often, I'll be able to get better muscle activation and get a lot stronger with that movement rather than my pen lay row. So it should actually end up helping my pen lay row over time. Absolutely. And then it's gonna also probably help my deadlift. Right now, this shit is just, it's so foreign, but it's so good. Holy shit. A little bit more than 510.
Go, 2 more. Nice. It's just funny.
Yeah, after a certain point, it just gets to be flat out stupid. There's people that are dying to deadlift that, and he's rowing it like it's nothing.
All right, so now this set's like kind of my back down set. Everything's a little bit lighter, so I'll move my grip out a little bit. I'm not gonna use as much body English. I'm gonna focus a little bit more on just muscle contraction and I guess not cheating as much. So. All right, so for this next one, we're gonna do some weighted pull-ups. Now, I was just telling Nsima a second ago, I will alternate weeks with how heavy I do these. So this week, I'm gonna heavy on bent over rows. So today, I'm just gonna maybe strap on a plate and just see how many reps I can do for 5 sets. Pretty much be like 5 sets to failure. Whereas like next week, I'll do heavy weighted pull-ups, much as I can for like sets of 5 or something like that, and then go a little bit lighter on bent over rows. So let's get started. Okay, so the third exercise we're gonna do today, definitely one of my favorite deadlift accessory movements is gonna be the shrug. So I do my shrugs a little bit different than most people. I line up to them just like I'm doing a deadlift. However, I prefer not to do them out of a rack. I like to do them either from the floor or maybe off of like a, no more than a 4-inch box. That way, you can really get like a reasonable amount of weight on there and you're not really doing too much. Because I feel like if you're doing it out of a rack, you're gonna tend to do like way too much weight. So I feel like if you can't deadlift it, you shouldn't be shrugging it. So So I'm going to mention that this isn't something that I would typically do on my back day or my main deadlift day. I have a day that I dedicate just to shoulders. So like, you know, all my lateral movements, overhead presses, stuff like that. And then after I do, you know, my main military press or whatever, I'll throw in some shrugs after that because, you know, after deadlifting heavy, doing bent over rows heavy, doing pull-ups, you know, you're not going to get a lot out of this exercise because you're not going to have anything left in the tank. Or if you do these on your deadlift day and then you try to do your pull-ups or bent over rows after your deadlifts or something like that, it's not going to be as good, you know. So I'll try to spread it out through the week as much as I can, especially if we're trying to build a big deadlift. So I'm going to kind of demonstrate how I like to do these. So like I said, everything's going to be as similar to a conventional deadlift as possible. Stance, everything, hand position is going to be about the same. Maybe I'll put my hands slightly wider just to give my shoulders a little bit more range of motion. Get down just like I'm doing a regular deadlift. And you kind of want to work up to a weight that's going to be like somewhat hard to pick up off the ground, but you know, nothing like ridiculous or anything like that. So we'll start off pretty light here. So then I just pick it up. I really like doing these even to the point to where I can really only maybe even do like 5 or something like that. And that's not something typically people most do. I feel like a really big benefit for doing heavy ass shrugs like this is having like a strong lockout position, really building a lot of upper back strength for your deadlift. It really keeps me from not collapsing over as much. I'm really able just to rip the weight off the ground with the power of my traps and be able just to manhandle that weight. And it makes the rest of the movement a lot easier to do.
Let me ask you something. How long have you been like implementing shrugs into your workout?
Quite a while now, maybe like a year and a half, kind of the same time I started doing the bent over rows.
Okay.
Yeah. And it was the same thing, you know, I noticed a tremendous increase in upper back strength when I started doing them. You know, making the deadlifts feel like nothing, you know, on my back. It was just so easy it was always so easy for me to lock out the weight. And I feel like it's because I was able to shrug almost as much as I could deadlift. So you know, really just getting up there into the 700 or 800 pound range for shrugs.
You're shrugging like 700, 800?
Yes, yeah, so I can do 800 for like, you know, 3 to 5 reps, something like that. If I pull off a 4-inch box, I can sit there. Yeah. And even if it's not like a huge range of motion, I'm still sitting there pulling my shoulders up or something. And I mean, really, if you can do this with 800 pounds, when you're picking it up off the ground, if you're just having to hold it there, it's gonna feel like nothing, right? Like, you know, you don't want this to be the issue here, so.
Another good idea.
Absolutely, absolutely. Okay. All right, so another one of my favorite exercises for building a huge deadlift is gonna be this GHR right here. So now what this machine does, it really targets those glutes and hamstrings. And I feel like it's very good for your lockout. It really builds like a lot of strength down here in the bottom position of your hamstring right here. Kind of just making that position really strong, especially if you're like a sumo puller and you really need to like kind of lock those legs out really quick at the top. I think it's really good for just building extra strength back there. So now what we're looking for here is, we don't want to be worried about weight. I like to just get like a good burn right here because I've noticed in the past if I'm worried about like going too heavy on these, that's when things start to hurt. And this is a really good way to tear a hamstring if you're not careful. So I'm just gonna kind of demonstrate how I like to do them. And if you need to use your hands on the handles, absolutely go for it. We're really just looking for a good hamstring contraction here, building more hypertrophy. This is not something for, you know, doing a lot of weight on. Like I said, we're just gonna try to mostly go with our body weight. If your body weight's too easy, then yeah, maybe do like a little bit of weight or something like that. But so you kind of just go down and then keep your back completely straight the whole time and just pretend like you're locking out a deadlift. Sometimes I'll go down and throw myself up and then I'll even kind of hold my hands like I'm doing a deadlift, pretending like I'm locking out that weight because it's like you're using similar muscle groups in both of these things. So probably just getting about 10 right here. I'll just try to like look up, keep everything just like I'm doing a deadlift, just like that. Try to keep everything straight. Don't really round over. Try to keep everything straight back here. Focus on these muscle groups as much as possible. Okay, all right, so the last deadlift accessory movement I'm gonna show for you guys today is called the reverse hyper. Oh, so now it's another one of those movements. I don't think it's very important to do like a ton of weight on it. I typically like to do sets no less than 8 reps. So I really like to get like a good burn, get some good hypertrophy work in. And really it's gonna really target your lower back, glutes, and hamstrings kind of all at the same time. So this isn't just good for if you're a powerlifter trying to build a bigger deadlift. I think this is also something great is if you have a lower back injury or you have a pulled glute or something like that, because this is something that stimulates easy blood flow to that area, and it's really gonna you know, make that area stronger, because usually what I find when people have like a lower back injury, it's because their back is weak. So doing this is gonna strengthen that area in an easy way, and also decompresses your spine, like Nsima said, and really you're just gonna feel a lot better after you do this, I guarantee it. So I'll kind of just take you guys through a couple sets, how I like to do them. Kind of just get on your legs where it feels good. Lean over the platform like this. And just pull your legs up as high as you can, try to just go straight. I usually like to do 3 or 4 sets, maybe 8 to 12 reps, something like that. Just enough to get like a good burn, good stimulation. This isn't something I particularly do a whole lot now to build a lot of strength, but you know, if I'm ever having like a little bit of a lighter day in the gym, a little bit more hypertrophy, my lower back's a little sore, feels a little stiff, something doesn't feel right, I will just kind of hit this a little bit just to get some active recovery in, get some blood flowing in my lower back, and kind of makes everything feel good. So there's 5 movements that I've used to build my deadlift up to 900 pounds. Start incorporating these in your workout and your deadlift will blow up. You can find me on Instagram at CailerC40.
The Natty Professor.
That is it from Super Training Gym. Peace.